My dear Mr. Pip,
I write this by request of Mr. Gargery, for to let you know that he is going to London in company of Mr. Wopsle, and would be glad if agreeable to be allowed to see you. He would call at Barnard's Hotel Tuesday morning, 9 o'clock, when if not agreeable, please leave word. Your poor sister is much the same as when you left. We talk of you in the kitchen every night, and wonder what you are saying and doing. If now considered in the light of a liberty, excuse it for the love of poor old days. No more, dear Mr. Pip, from your ever obliged and affectionate servant, Biddy. P.S. He wishes me most particular to write what larks. He says you will understand. I hope and do not doubt it will be agreeable to see him, even though a gentleman, for you had ever a good heart, and he is a worthy man. I have read him all, excepting only the last little sentence, and he wishes me most particular to write again, what larks. I received this letter by the post on Monday morning, and therefore its appointment was for next day. Let me confess exactly with what feelings I looked forward to Joe's coming. Not with pleasure, though I was bound to him by so many ties. No, with considerable disturbance, some mortification, and a keen sense of incongruity. If I could have kept him away by paying money, I certainly would have paid money. My greatest reassurance was that he was coming to Barnard's Inn, not to Hammersmith, and consequently would not fall in Bentley Drummel's way. I had little objection to his being seen by Herbert or his father, for both of whom I had respect, but I had the sharpest sensitiveness as to his being seen by Drummel, whom I held in contempt. So, throughout life, our worst weaknesses and meannesses are usually committed for the sake of the people whom we most despise. Presently I heard Joe on the staircase. I knew it was Joe by his clumsy manner of coming upstairs, his state boots being always too big for him, and by the time it took him to read the names on the other floors in the course of his ascent. When at least he stopped outside the door, I could hear his finger tracing over the painted letters of my name, and I afterwards distinctly heard him breathing in at the keyhole. Finally, he gave a faint single rap, and Pepper, such was the compromising name of the avenging boy, announced, "Mr. Gargery, I thought he never would have done wiping his feet, and that I must have gone out to lift him off the mat, but at last he came in."
Joe, how are you, Joe?
Pip, how are you, Pip?
With his good honest face all glowing and shining, and his hat put down on the floor between us, he caught both my hands and worked them straight up and down, as if I had been the last patented pump.
I'm glad to see you, Joe. Give me your hat.
But Joe, taking it carefully in both hands like a bird's nest with eggs in it, wouldn't hear parting with that piece of property, and persisted in standing talking over it in a most uncomfortable way.
Would you have that crowed, and that swelled, and that gentlefolked, and to be sure you are an honour to your king and country.
And you, Joe, look wonderfully well.
Good God, I'm incurable to most. And your sister, she's no worse than she were. And Biddy, she's bright and ruddy. And all friends is no backarder and no forwarder. And except in Wopsle, he's had a drop.
Had a drop, Joe?
Why, yes. He's left the church and went into play acting, which the play acting have likewise brought him to London along with me. And his wish were, if no offence, as I would give you that.
I took what Joe gave me, and found it to be a crumpled playbill of a small metropolitan theatre, announcing that first appearance in that very week of the celebrated provincial amateur of Roscian renown, whose unique performance in the highest tragic walk of our national bard has lately occasioned so great a sensation in dramatic circles.
Were you at his performance, Joe?
Yes, I were.
Was there a great sensation?
Why, yes, there were a peck of orange peel, particular when you see the ghosts.
Joe talked on and on about the play, when suddenly Herbert enters the room. Joe remarks on the goodness of the house, and flatters them both handsomely, all the while trying to find a place for his hat. He sets the hat on the mantelpiece, but it keeps falling off. When did you come into town, Mr. Gargery?
Well, were it yesterday afternoon? No, it were not. Yes, it were. Yes, it was yesterday afternoon.